What's going on, everyone? My name's Tenebris Infinite, and today we are going to take a look at the rebalanced clothing schematics here in Generation Zero. It's not every update that I get to see something improved as a result of one of my videos, so I want to whoa, what? When did I get a lisp? So I want to say thank you to the team for seeing my video on schematics earlier this year and getting it into much better shape. These schematics have had their worth brought up a huge amount from these rebalancings. So now most of the clothing schematics are well worth the grind to get. I do think things could be changed a little bit more to really get these schematics and clothing in general to its fullest potential, so let me know if you folks want to hear that one. I'll probably make it anyway, but the feedback is always appreciated. Now let's get into assessing these clothing schematics, the Tenebris way, where I come up with a bunch of weird tests to see how these things work. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up so we can let the greater community know that these are really dang good now. So first up, Jump Boost. This one's really easy to show at max level as it really had a decent vertical boost already. And that's been improved even further, making what was tricky to do with the last jump boost relatively easy to do with this new one. If you like exploring all over the place in cities, Jump Boost is now an excellent tool to get to the hard to reach places. You don't get much increase to your horizontal jump distance, which is totally fine to me. It's not like we need to be lunging 30 feet from having springy shoes, and the vert is still a huge benefit. Now, padded shoes. Generation Zero's worst enemy isn't the Soviet machines, or the Reaper, or even the bikes. It's always been fall damage. I've died to fall damage in this game a probably embarrassing amount of times, and these padded shoes are an excellent method of at least reducing that risk a little bit. You save something like maybe 10% of your HP from a 5-star pair of shoes, which is really awesome. If you're a new player and haven't looked into schematics too much, these are your only method of reducing fall damage outside of the Vanguard specialization. Now for the schematics I'm most stoked about with the improvements, the stealth schematics. First up is noise reduction, and this is made visible by how close you can approach a machine from walking. Crouching is still considered stealth movement, but gains a small buff from it. But the real signs are in walking, as that's usually high-profile movement in Generation Zero. You can see there's a difference of maybe about a second to a second and a half from machines noticing you from high-profile movement, and that's really good for when you're stealthing machines. I'm going to have to run some pretty in-depth tests on different skill builds to see just how far this stealth boost goes, but right now the signs of it are really good. But the set that has probably seen the best improvement of them all in my books is the Camo Set. Again, 0 stealth perks on this character, and it's like the machines can barely even see me as long as I'm not moving too actively, which is really sick. If you're in a stealthy position while sniping machines, this Camo Set might be the ultimate friend to anyone that digs stealthy long distance approach to combat. And if you're careful, you can use this to approach machines that are looking right at you, meaning this might be part of the ultimate stealth build. Again, I'm going to have to test things quite thoroughly, but look forward to a stealth build probably later on this week. Like, look at how quickly the alert bar dissipates. It is good, dude! For direct comparison, here is no camo clothes, and it's pretty much impossible to do what I just did walking around like that. The bar, instead of chilling out, is continuing to build, and alert status makes the bar fill even faster. I really can't wait to see what I can come up with for a stealth build, because it feels like Generation Zero's stealth meta has gotten freaking sweet over this past year. So, one damage reduction I was really curious to see in this change was fire damage. In the previous version, we gained immunity to all environmental fire damage. And that's been changed up, understandably. Just like when I found out how to become invincible to ticks back in 2019, these invincible things aren't really supposed to be here in the game, so I'm glad to see it brought around to a more balanced state. As well, it does very little to stop stack damage over time. So you can't use the fireproof to survive a flamethrower. I'd maybe like to see that one changed around a bit, but it might be hard to do with how damage stacks in game. Okay, so one of my favorite clothing schematics has always been explosion damage. This schematic has a lot of combat application, but even cooler is the emergent gameplay of using rocket jumps. We've always been blowing ourselves up in Generation Zero. Pretty much since before the game's launch even. I think I remember hearing old rumors of people trying to launch themselves to the mainland from the archipelago when it was just in that state. Anyway, long story short, it works dang good to reduce self-damage from explosions, which means if you ever want to get around to even higher heights than jump boost, rocket jumps are the way. And it does pretty dang good for combat, as I said. It reduces a volley of grenades from a Spetsnaz Lynx by almost 20%. A really big boost in damage reduction. The last schematic we're going to look at today is one of the ones I had really hoped to see fixed. So much so that I thought it was in the first place, but on closer examination, it's not quite working yet. Bullet resistance. Now, this is just the first approach to schematics, and hopefully in the next update towards them, we'll see this one working in full order. Bullet resistance has so much potential in this game for late game play, but I totally get the team wanting to keep things in a balanced state. So far, the rebalancing has been promising, so I'm hopeful we'll see bullet resistance be the same dealio, where it's fully worth the grind, but doesn't make you invincible. So, I want to know, have you messed around with the new schematics since the recon update? Now that they're more worthwhile, are you going to try to grind for them? I think clothing schematics and crafting in general is still in the early stages, but it's great seeing it move on here and get some love and attention. But, folks, here we are at the end, so we got more coming for GZ soon, but I've also got some big Road to Vostok videos I want to make, so we'll see how much I can get done this week. But I want to say thank you very much for watching, hopefully you all enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next one. Until then, peace.